Okay. I want to talk about Prince Harry. I'm going to write some notes. I'm going to listen to the podcast again, and I'm going to write some notes about it because it's coming from his mouth. And the one thing that he did say is it should come from the horse's mouth. I agree with that. So this is my feelings based on what he actually said. Based on what he said about people using their emotions to translate news and push it out to the world and or perceive it. I agree. So this is what I perceived about Prince Harry and his Dax Shepard interview. I do wholeheartedly believe that what Prince Harry said was brilliant. It was the most brilliant interview or talk or sit down I've ever heard from Prince Harry. It made him seem smart. It made him seem thoughtful, aware, and illuminated, and trying to build himself. I do feel like he's coming into terms as to who he is, and he is sort of like a newborn baby. He's coming out of the monarchy where he was protected and people did things for him, and now he's doing things for himself and thinking for himself, and he's brilliant. Whatever therapy he's going through, he's using it and he's putting it to good use and talking about it. I think he's really aware and illuminated, and kudos to who's ever in his life influencing him to be himself and be illuminated and love what he said. That is just my personal opinion about the interview. I'm going to go back and write down some things he said, and I'm also going to pull some cards on the interview itself. But as far as just listening to the interview and what he was talking about, he's bright, he's brilliant, he's, not a stupid man. Not everybody's going to go through, can do schooling, by the way. Some people are hands-on, and I'm one of those people that are really hands-on, and my brilliance, it shines through my experience. So the experiences that I have where I go through the things that I've been through helps me see through certain things. And like I can call, I could sit in a room and say, this person, they're going to break up just by their body language and certain things that they do and say when they're in the room. One person could be saying, oh, we're in love, we're madly in love, and the other person could have a certain body language that'll say differently. And then I don't say anything. Why would I? But then, I would mention it to, close circles and close friends and be like, I don't think they're going to stay together. And literally a week, 2 weeks later, they break up. And that's through experience. That's through body language. That's through learning people, learning self. So I do think he's self-aware, and that's why he could say certain things about mental illness, his experiences with his drug use. Being honest and authentic is incredible and amazing, and I do think that makes him a people's prince, and people can relate. Here's the thing. I think he should keep it to Prince Harry, which he tried to do. But when people are asking him about his family, he should just not mention that at all. He should keep it to himself. So anything he's talking about should be of his experiences and not speak for the monarchy. And that's where he's getting in trouble. So if anything he's saying about the monarchy, I don't think he should speak upon it because they're not there to actually defend themselves, and they will not defend themselves. So the smart thing to do is to just try to be silent, especially like you're saying, you have a platform and you need to be responsible. Well, being responsible means that you are not saying certain things that will push people into a situation where they can't defend themselves. So you did a little bit put your family into the circus or the zoo, as you would put it, by mentioning them. If anything you're saying, it should always be about you and whatever permission your wife gives you to say about her and whatever you feel comfortable saying about your children, which should not be a lot, and I would understand why. Um, so yeah, I don't think that Prince Harry said anything wrong in his talk on the Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. I think the I keep saying interview, but even he was like, it's not an interview. We're homies. Let's sit down and chill. Like he talked to him like they were real people. He had a conversation like he was a real man talking to another real man. You know what I mean? And I found it to be very refreshing and authentic and beautiful. Um, so thank you, Prince Harry, for sharing yourself and opening up. It says a lot about you coming into terms with living a life that you want to live, no matter what status you came from. Like you said, I'm gonna go back and write these things down because they were jewels. And so people aren't seeing that; they're seeing what they want to see, which is he, and they're even taking it out of context. Because I saw the whole interview, and I do think that the interview was brilliant. I can go back and rewatch it because I missed some of it. As far as like maybe I dozed off a little bit, but the points that I heard were really brilliant. You know what I mean? And I don't think, he was saying I was abused as a child. You know what I mean? I think he was just saying, he lived the life where he didn't say anything and he had to do a certain thing. And I do understand that thing about having to be a show when you go out to talk to people, especially big people. I used to work for Paramount Pictures and I had to deal with big wigs. And sometimes when I'm invited to these parties, it would freak me out where I would have to take a Xanax before I walk in a room because I was dealing with big wigs and I had to not be afraid. And it would just chill me the fuck out. I wouldn't be sleepy or anything. I would just be chill where I'm like, yeah, I could take on the world. So, he was talking about medicating to strike. That's what the term that I use. Sometimes he would use drugs to perform. I call it medicating the strike because a lot of people do it. I've taken a pill or two, when I would go out and party the night before and then have to go to work. I would take a ADD medication and perform like nobody's business and get compliments on my performance, and it would just again even me out because I do have ADD, and also I was up the night before and it was meant to be used as an upper, but it actually just evened me out and I learned that I had ADD anyways. And so Adderall is now my friend. So I am not bashing anybody who talks about their struggles with mental illness and their journey with healing themselves with mental illness. And that's the point, to actually, bring yourself back into a place of where you're balanced in your life. This man is a human man. He's not a god. He's not, the savior of the universe. He's just a man. And this man has pressures of a god or a savior of the universe that's been placed onto him. And he can't, he can barely hold his own shit together. And that's what he's telling you. So what's wrong with that? I'm very pleased and thank you for sharing your story. It was a wonderful gift and it's amazing. So then now I'm going to go do some cards. And, a lot of people are not going to agree with this. A lot of people like, he's an asshole. He's a dick. He's talking about the monarchy. And what I saw with the interview was a man who was like speaking his truth and being authentic, and it felt really good. It was like, oh, like he the homie. This motherfucker chill as fuck, is what I got out of it. And, I'm going to be authentically me and say that. Like, oh, wow, this motherfucker chill as fuck. Okay, he's cool as hell. Sexy as hell. He flies Apache helicopters. Do you know how hot that is? That's Megan, don't fuck up, bitch. Don't fuck up.